Колеги, доброго вечора. Дуже дякую, що зібралися.
Good evening, dear colleagues. Thank you for coming at this late hour. I would like to invite to this floor Mikhail Saakashvili, Governor of Odessa Oblast, Head of Odessa State Administration, Regional State Administration. Let's discuss the incident that happened yesterday at the National Council for Reform. Thank you for coming. Thank you for the invitation to the Ukrainian Crisis Media Center. I had no intention to come back to the topic of yesterday's events presently, but this morning when the Ukrainian government and personally Prime Minister summoned an extraordinary session of the government to discuss the issue of the incident. Yesterday, the National Reforms Council, I decided to respond to that because the Prime Minister, that extraordinary meeting of the government, dedicated all the agenda to one topic, that all the government were answering through TV. And that's the Ukrainian government that drove Ukraine into the economic decline. And without any exaggerating to the level of African states, I respect African states, but we never were on a level with them in terms of economy and corruption. And they have the time to pull themselves together and to gather and to decline not the economic corruption, not the economic decline, not the endemic corruption, not the very sensitive tax code, not the budget, and I cannot see any critical analysis on behalf of the parliament or the society for that matter. The main problem is Saakashvili and the documents that I presented yesterday and as of lately, starting trying to stop the arbitrary behavior and the lawlessness at the state-run enterprises in all Ukraine. Some ministers made presentations today following in the steps of the Prime Minister, dedicated their presentations and statements to me. Not accidentally, they were ministers from the areas with the most sensitive problems, and that includes corruption. Some ministers refused to do that, and they maintain proud silence. I talked to some of them. They discussed the assignment they were given and this campaign that was launched as an initiative of the head of the government. I would like to tell you that today the Ministry of Interior officially disseminated some video that has been on the internet for some days now about my would-be meeting that never happened with Mr. Mazepin, who is COE of Uralkhem. I never heard about the enterprise, or when I started about talking about state-run enterprises, the Odessa and the Odessa enterprise processing plants, they started talking about Uralkhem and that gentleman, and I saw the video and got interested in the personality of this man and whether he ever crossed the border of Ukraine. I approached competent services, and they are going to answer officially to my request, to my inquiry, but unofficially we have to double check. But Mr. Mazepin never crossed the border according to the preliminary data during the period of my governorship. And that person and his enterprise confirmed today that never had any meetings with me, ever. Then I took a closer look at the video. This is an official video, supposedly, that is disseminated by the official channels. This video is disseminated by the Ministry of Interior of Ukraine. Look closer. Can we play it again? 16 seconds. And I read some bloggers, but this is not plagiarism on my part. And my cousin, who is a very good video engineer in New York, I asked him to ask for his professional opinion, his expert opinion. This person is looking in one way, I'm looking in a different direction, and freeze. I have this problem of overweight, and I weigh more than ever before. Right now, for this recent period, look at me. Please take a closer look, and at this. This is too much, even for me. This is cruel. This is a cruel exaggeration. I need another couple of months to work on it to become this fat. Stop here. Do I have a neck, do you think? I've got a neck. There's no neck here. Why? And this is an official document. This is something officially made public by the Ministry of Interior of Ukraine. And you can see what kind of swindlers they are. And there's whatever the profession of such swindlers. And tricksters. And you can see that the size of the cars is wrong. I was scratching my head and thinking about some accidental meeting, but why wouldn't he look at me once? I don't remember this face. I can talk to the people, crowd sometimes. People want to have pictures with me. What kind of secret negotiation can I possibly have at Mozart Hotel? In the most public place in Odessa. They think that journalists are idiots, and I'm an idiot. They fabricate such videos, such documents, such contracts, and they steal every day from our state millions and billions. They steal. That's why I will never leave them alone. I had a meeting with the president. Today he will make his statement to reciprocate the statements, like he said that I was a guest here, a touring artist that was said by the Minister of Interior, and the Prime Minister was backing him up in that. So I hope that you know that that minister wasn't born in Ukraine. We are all Ukrainian nationals. We were not discussing the origin of individuals here, but I hope that the president will make the statement. And I read the statement of the head of staff of the National Council for Reforms, Mr. Shimkiv. He said that we will be above the battle. The National Council will be above the battle without making any videos public, without letting anyone gain political points. Quite frankly, I am not proud of what happened yesterday. I'm actually ashamed of it. I don't think that that can gain political points for anyone, But Mr. Shimkiv is not in position what is useful for the Ukrainian people. How can they possibly be about the battle? How can they be put there? For what merits? We are all below our people. We are all below our citizens. And for our citizens, we can say that they are far ahead of the Ukrainian authorities. And I hope that the video will be promulgated. And those people who saw that we cannot register all the remarks, and there are some things that I'm not proud of, unfortunately. And secondly, I will never leave them alone. On the 25th of December, we will have in Kyiv a big anti-corruption forum. I will get people from all over Ukraine, and we will bring people, activists from NGOs, civic organizations, individual activists. This is not a party forum of any kind, but political parties can participate. That's their right. But at this forum, before this forum, I would like to travel some Ukrainian towns and cities and talk to the public and discuss things that I try to discuss in the National Council and I keep saying on TV. We are all answerable to our people. I have a lot of assignments for Odessa, and Odessa region I will also. To the communities, we will not make things easy for them. There are rumors about dismissing some ministers and retaining some ministers to keep the accords in force, the behind-the-scenes agreement not to split the country, not to disturb the unity if someone steals $100 less. Why is this a schism for Ukraine? This will be a reinforcement for Ukraine if we prevent them from stealing. Our people should understand that the time of lies is over. Over all this period, they are chasing me with TV cameras. They are intercepting my telephone conversations, and the only thing they could make is this fabrication, this miraculous video. My meeting with some Russian business person. I do not see anything shameful in meeting any business people. I don't remember any Russian ones, but I can have a meeting with the people who are ready to invest in Ukraine. We can see real business people. I regularly post them on my Facebook or show them on TV if I have such meetings. But why this fake? Why should they make it? And they couldn't find anything else. Can you imagine just how scarce the evidence is with them? We found a lot. We had a lot on Subhem, on Gog, and Opazé, and the railway, and in other places we would do it. The Odessa port plants, we are going to improve that, to rectify it, to make things better. I could not but reciprocate the initiative of prime ministers today, and I want to give them a piece of sound advice. Dear government, do what you're supposed to do. You haven't got much time left with this situation. However hard they try to prolong their time robbing assets and with the manipulations like these. Your questions. Please introduce yourselves before you put your question, dear colleagues. Georgians of Maidan, 2950 Volunteer Battalion, Livan. Mikhail, in Maidan, we had lots of Georgians participating, approximately, I can say 35, 36 Georgians, and we were inspired by your visits to the Maidan, and we were living it through it again and supporting Ukraine. 2 Georgians, David and Zurab, died in the Maidan. And it's very interesting what Mr. Yatsenyuk can say to the souls of the men we lost, who perished in the Maidan. The souls are still here, I believe, not just in the Maidan, in the ATO area. There are many Georgians fighting. Unofficially, 10 people died or killed there, 10 Georgians. And what can Prime Minister tell to the souls of those people? Go away, fly to your homeland. We know that many Ukrainians fought for independence of Georgia. Thank you very much. If there's one Georgian who can say that to a Ukrainian, go away, I think that person would be torn apart. Thank you very much. I would like to remind you that Sergei Nigoyan perished in Maidan. He was Armenian, then a Belarusian guy, and then a Georgian guy. So they were all here fighting for the whole region, not just Ukraine. And we are all fighting for the freedom of all this region. Ukraine is now deciding the fate of all Europe, and that includes our region. Any further questions? Yes, please. Insider Evgeny Pedratsky. You discussed the support plant. Is Mr. Kononenko behind the scenes? I cannot exclude that. There are 2 political appointees as managers. I cannot exclude anything because there are 2 such appointees. Mr. Shmurikov, who filed a case against me at court, and Madam Tkachenko, she can be related to some people in the presidential faction. According to our data, I'm not circulating any rumors. In the presidential faction, there are many people who attacked me immediately after dismissal, at least pro forma dismissal of Mr. Martynenko. He is now alienated from such schemes. In the presidential faction, I have many friends. Also, they started fights, and some people were arguing that Saakashvili had nothing to do with that, has enough on his plate in Odessa. As you said, one person who is investigated by FBI for international fraud. He specialized on that matter. He is a member of the presidential faction. He is not expelled yet. So I cannot say definitely. Maybe, maybe not. I cannot be positive, but there are some people who are really hurt by my actions. There are some people injured in that way, but there are many subgroups in that faction, a lot of turmoil. I have lots of friends. The anti-corruption platform inside it, many decent people. I wouldn't really paint all of them with the same paint. And Alexei Savykova's TV channel. Is there any evidence of involvement of the governmental group in corruption? And can you give that to the prosecutor's office? And what will be that forum? It will happen in Olympijski complex and Olympijski facility. Last time we had Odessa anti-corruption initiative with many exciting things. People discussed raidering, and we had specific entrepreneurs discussing raidering, the tax inspections which were not grounded. That was realistically done. Not academics, but sufferers. And the evidence is piling up, and we will make it public. These schemes, the Odessa port plants, $5 billion washed out, drained out of state-run enterprises. And they canceled the contract, and they recognized indirectly that that was corrupt. But people who are still working there are involved, and they're suing me on behalf of the enterprise, their support plant, and at Atomic Machinery, and there are big schemes there. And yesterday I was presenting to the National Council for Reforms, the Ministry of Economy and Financial Inspection, with the go-betweens and how they do that. This principle for the state-run enterprise is to sell at a cheap price, to buy at a high price. And they use Austrian go-betweens, some offshore companies, and they do it in that way. And that is the same scheme for all the state-run enterprises. We are aware of that. And especially some concerns of the Ministry of Interior. I understand the Minister, because many things are related to the NP, Odessa refinery, when Kurchenko ran away, stealing of oil crude oil from the refinery with participation of the state bodies. And also that refinery is related to Odessa port plant. In some way, our prosecutor's office in Odessa has access to that evidence, and I approached the National Anti-Corruption Agency. Mr. Zhvania presented this scheme of involvement of the Prime Minister and Mr. Martynenko in the corruption schemes, it is not very pleasant to discuss any government, especially our country, our government. It's my country. Mr. Zhvania should be interviewed. Maybe he lies, maybe he doesn't, but he is very competent in such affairs. In addition to such testimony, we also have lots of evidence in documents. Yesterday I discussed that partially, very calmly. And they couldn't understand why I was so tranquil, and all that started. I was just composed, and I was presenting things that I always present openly in public for some months now. I think that the system of approaches to such state-run enterprises should be changed. We have to change all the supervisory boards. We have to dismiss political appointees by political quotas. Say Odessa port plant, the People's Front, and Poroshenko bloc. What are they doing there, I'm asking you? Parties have nothing to do with that, or political movements for that matter. Those are not parties even, those are personages who are hiding behind the shield of parties for their own purposes, with their own hidden agenda. All the Avakovs of the world have the same problem. In the prosecutor's office, the police, the customs service do not take bribes, and something was wrong with that. Everyone would take, and they are not taken anymore. But that was collusion of silence, and that was they called me a traveling corn artist and a touring performer and an alien. Maybe they registered all the expressions, and they suggested that I leave the country because we disturb that secret conspiracy that made Ukraine so infamous, so notorious, and they are trying to carry us to some place away from Ukraine. At that forum, we will present lots of evidence, and I would like to call upon state functionaries who are decent and want to make this country decent to provide more materials. Usually we get it from the civil service, the active servicemen and former officials, some open sources, not so open sources. Some people are not eager to be discovered and displayed. Confidentiality is guaranteed. If you want to do it openly, please do. But we need access to such evidence because I would like to know where it went. 120 billion hryvnias. It's stolen, according to my calculations, twice as much. Yesterday, with a very calm face, on this step, the Prime Minister said that the losses from his enterprise was 120 billion hryvnias. He said that that was a fact. This year it is a little bit less. What kind of management is that? They are supposed to make profits on the same scale, and this is an established fact, and they are very resentful if we say that this is stolen and point to the people who, according to our opinion, did it personally. 3 questions, 1 plus 1. Good evening, 1 plus 1. I like your hairstyle. I like yours. So I would like to narrow it down a little bit about the evidence that is expected by the public. So you had serious. I don't like your TV. I don't like the tone, the key, the tolling contract, and the enterprise didn't get anything. That was a political contract. And they had to recognize that, and they had to dismiss it. And don't make believe that I am just saying it without any hard evidence. That was recognized by the Prime Minister, and the government who dismissed the contract. And what kind of evidence do you need? That was dismissed. The contract was discontinued. $93 billion were disappearing into thin air. $90 million disappear. Martinenko concluded the contract. Shmurikov signed it off with the objections of Gorbatko. These schemes are too daring. We could not believe how open they were in broad day, and they would do that very arrogantly. We calculated it. They will provide you with the report, and on the 25th we will present it. $500 million at least, according to our calculations, billions of dollars on the railway. We have nothing to calculate to the penny. Is it a new thing? Is it something you've never seen and never discovered, you or any officials? Why the millions disappear? The proof, it's all written. It's all in the books. It's all in the wall. The 20 billion of losses. And you say, where's the evidence? And they are telling us. Read their lips. It's all on the surface. This video is a cheap fake, and it's all proven. Next question, please. Igor Babak, 112. You will never leave them alone, the Minister of Interior. What will you do? Will you sue them? In Ukraine, we have to clean up the government to get rid of those people. I'm pretty sure of that. And the Ukrainian government, listening to the reports of the Ukrainian government, so there shouldn't be any undercover agreements. The People's Front, the presidential forces, some other forces perhaps. And we have to make this public report to the comments, discuss the tax code publicly, not in a hasty fashion. We are in this situation when we have to adopt things that cannot provide for our economic development in any way. We have to make this public. The budget should be publicly discussed, and in their offices give you that, give me that. Appoint my appointee, and I will appoint you Shmurikov somewhere. This is not the way. We should not let them do it. All the appointments and all the appointments, many appointments were done in that way, and many things were concluded in that way, and a lot of damage was done by that. Exactly. So we have to say clearly that we will not let them do it. We have here some MPs, and there are many people who are decent, who are honest, and they will insist on this open discussion. The society should take part of it. And then the anti-corruption forum. Your last question. News One. Victoria Majdanek, News One. 30 minutes ago, on the presidential side, there was a commentary. I would like to quote, it's not about a beautiful presentation, it's about evidence. Will you provide the evidence, the convincing evidence? I believe that the president is well informed. The Anti-Corruption Bureau is our hope, and all the facts that I presented are not my guesses. That's the official data coming from the Ukrainian government, our government, on big-scale losses and robbery in our economy. There's nothing to investigate. There are facts, and the guilty parties should be punished. The first punishment is the dismissal from the government, and then that should be prosecuted and tried. Can we play this video again? Just to conclude the exercise, we discussed the hairstyle. I want to give you some additional. You can see the wind. The wind, you see? That's with my jacket. You can see the wind. The wind. And you can see the hair on my head. Nothing is in motion with my head. Everything around is moving in motion. The trees. I never use any grease for my hair. This is the super gel. And my best regards to Avakov and his people. On this note, I would like to conclude. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you. Our day is over. Thank you very much.